Hi, it's Lori from loristory.com. I had someone message me on Facebook asking how to make this project over here in Design Space. So I thought I'd do a quick video and show her how I would go about that, and maybe this will help some others. So the first thing we're going to do is create a new project. We're going to go to Insert Images. And we're going to grab a square. And I'm going to grab this one. And we need an elephant. I'm going to grab this one. And that's all we need. So we're going to go Insert Images. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is pull this elephant off to the side. We're going to work with the square. I'm going to copy and paste the square. I'm going to drag this one over here. I'm going to take this one and I'm going to go to Edit. I'm going to unlock Keep Proportions because you can see this is not a perfect square. So I'm going to unlock Keep Proportions and I'm going to change this to an 8 by 8-inch square. Okay. Now I'm going to copy, paste, and I'm going to change this square to 7 inches. I'm going to line that up as centered as I can get it. That looks pretty good. Now I'm going to draw a box around both squares. I'm going to right click and I'm going to slice. Okay, so this piece right here represents this photo mat. If I were actually going to make this, I would probably copy and paste this 2 or 3 times and glue them all together to give it the added thickness that a photo mat has. But for now, we'll just leave it as is. I'm going to go over here in the Layers panel. I'm going to click on the frame and I'm going to change it to white. Okay, now this rectangle, we're going to make this vase piece. So we need another one. We're going to copy, paste. We have another rectangle on top of it. And I am going to change this to 6.75. So that's about, maybe we want to make it, let's make it 6.5. So that gives us about a 1/2 inch border. And then we're going to pull this bottom up to about, we're making this part right here. So I'm going to go about like that. So we're going to select that rectangle, select the one below it, right click, slice. We'll pull that off. Now let's go over here in the Layers panel where it's selected, click on it and change it to white. So now we've just made this piece and this piece. Okay, now we're going to grab the elephants. And we're going to need 3 elephants, so we're going to copy, paste, and paste again. Okay, so we have our 3 elephants. First thing I want to do is take this frame and get it out of our way. I'm just going to throw it over here on the side. I'm going to take this elephant and push him down here, this one down here. We're going to look at this one. Now when I click here in the center, you see it's picking the frame, and that's because the frame is on top. So let's just put that frame in the back to make everything easier. So now the frame is in the back layer, the elephant is on top, and I can place him kind of about where I want him. And I'm going to make him just a little bit bigger. Okay. Now the next elephant is going to be slightly smaller than that one. I'm going to line it up. And their tails are kind of, their snouts are holding onto the tail of the one in front of them. So I'm going to put him right there, and then this will be our baby elephant. Make this one small. Okay, now I'm going to select all three elephants, and I'm just going to use my arrow key and kind of center them a little bit better. Okay, now what we want to do is weld these elephants to the base, but we don't want to weld the top layer. So we need to select the first elephant, right click, ungroup. Okay, so now I'm going to take the heart, and I'm going to set that down here. I'm going to take the top pink layer, set it down here, and I'm going to grab this elephant and grab the base layer, right click, and weld. Now this elephant is part of the base layer. Now we're going to repeat the same thing with this one. When you weld something and the layer becomes all one color, that layer automatically goes to the top of your stack. So let's push this back to the back again. Send or move to back. Okay, now that lets us grab this elephant easier. Let's right click on him, ungroup. Let's take this heart, put it down here. Take the pink part, put it down here. Grab the elephant, grab the base, right click, weld. Now you can see that's welded there and it's welded here. And again, this layer came to the top because we just welded it, so let's send it to the back. Let's grab our baby elephant, right click, ungroup. Let's pull the pink layer down. Let's pull the heart down. Let's grab the elephant. Let's grab the frame, right click, weld. Okay, so we just created the base layer of this. These are going to, you could glue these on the top, and if you want it to stay all white like this is, we just go over here to our layers panel, click on it, select white. Same with this one, click on it, select white. This one, click on it, select white. Now this frame is on top again because we welded it, so let's move it to the back. And let's move our pieces back up here. And those will just get glued on the top to add dimension and the details to the elephant. Okay, so we have our base layer. Now we're going to use one of these hearts, and I think I'm going to use the medium one, so I can get rid of this one, and I can get rid of this one, and I'm just clicking on it and hitting delete on my keyboard. So I'm going to set this on the 1 inch and the 8 inch. Now by doing that, I can tell that I'm going to center my hearts correctly. So I'm going to grab my heart, I'm going to hit copy, paste. I need 2 hearts, and I'm going to set this heart centered at about the 7 inch mark, and I'm lining it up right here. Okay, and then I'm going to set this one up at the 2 inch mark. Each of them will be about 1 inch from the side. Now I want to make sure that they're totally level, so I'm going to click on one heart. I'm going to go over here at the edit panel, and this is at the y-axis is at 6.15. So if I click on this one and I put the y-axis at 6.15, those are perfectly in alignment. Now we're going to click on the heart, click on the frame, right click, slice. So now we've just put a hole in the frame. Now since we just sliced the frame, it's on the front or on the top layer again, so we want to move it back to the back. We're going to do the same thing with this heart. Click on the heart, click on the frame, right click, slice. Okay, so now the frame is on top because we just sliced it again. Let's move it to the back. Alright, so we have our frame. Here's our elephants. Let's line them back up. And again, those will get glued on top. we have the cutout here for the hearts. We don't need these. We have our big frame that goes around. And now we're going to take this frame, or this rectangle, we're going to make it just a little bit bigger. And we are going to click on it over here in the Layers panel, and we're going to change that to blue. And I'm going to send that to the back. Okay, so we have everything here except the words. So I'm going to move this aside again, move this aside, grab these, move that aside. We're going to put our name in here. So we're going to go add text, and we're going to type the first word, which is Stanley. I'm going to choose a font, and I'm going to use one called Japan. You can use whatever font you want. Okay, now these letters need to be welded together, so we need them closer. So we're going to go to letter spacing and just move them together until they're touching or overlapping. And that looks about right. I'm going to right click, weld. Now you can see these are all one piece. I'm going to set it up here in the corner of the frame so that it's touching up here, slightly overlapping here. I'd like the L to touch too, so I'm going to lift it up just a little bit more. Now I'm going to select the name and the frame, right click, weld. Okay, now we need the word Anthony. And again, I'm going to adjust the spacing until the letters are touching. Okay, the N is not touching the T, there's a bigger gap in here. So I'm going to right click and ungroup these letters. And now I can manually move each letter so that it's overlapping the way I want it. Okay, now I'm going to select each letter by holding my Shift key. Right click, weld. Okay, now we're going to adjust our word. And that one is overlapping over here a little bit, and the A is kind of attached to the Y. Okay, so I'm going to select the word and the frame, right click, weld. And we need the last name. I'm just going to type Smith. Just in case that is somebody's name, I don't want to upset somebody. So let's just hit Smith. Alright, and now I'm going to adjust the letter spacing again, see if we can get this. Oops, I hit line spacing. Letter spacing. Get this word to come together, and again there's a bigger gap in between here. So I'm going to right click, ungroup these letters. I'm going to manually click on the T. I'm going to scoot it over. I'm just using my arrow key to scoot it over so it stays straight. And I'm going to move the H over. I'm going to select all the letters, hold my Shift key, right click, weld. Okay, and then I'm going to attach this over here, stretch it out a little bit, down. Make sure it's overlapping. I'm going to select the word, the frame, right click, weld. Okay, so all that's left here, and I can't tell what that says, but we could type that in there, or we could, it looks like it's a cutout, so what I'm going to do is grab this rectangle that we saved, and I'm going to just eyeball it size. It's a range, bring to front. I'm going to select the frame and the rectangle, right click, slice. And I'm going to pull the rectangle out. Now you could just type on word processing the information in there. I'm assuming that's probably a name and a birth date, and then just glue that behind. Or if you wanted to, you could use the pen tool and actually put the text on a larger rectangle, make that a little bit bigger that would fit behind there. And that's it. So let's put this back together so you can see. Let's get rid of this. Let's bring our elephants to the front. Arrange, bring to front. Arrange, bring to front. The next thing I want to do, because this file is getting kind of complex and I don't want to have any issues when we're finished, you see we have these black shadow layers that we are not using. I want to turn that on, and I'm going to delete it. I'm going to do the same for this one. Delete. And this last one. We just don't need any extra information in there that we don't need. Okay, if we wanted to fill in this place card that fits behind here with the Cricut, I would do Add Text. And let's say we were going to put the name in there. And maybe the birth date, 11/25/14. Okay, and I want to use a font that the Cricut can write with. So I'm going to go down to Has Writing Style in this drop-down window. And that's going to show me fonts that have the writing style. It will just write a single line instead of outlining the text. And actually that one's not bad. So I'm going to resize it to fit on my nameplate. And I want it centered. So I'm going to click right here. And maybe I'm going to stretch it down just a little bit. Well, that might be a little too much. Okay, now if we want that to write right on that piece of paper, we need to select both, right click, and attach. And what that's going to do is keep that text on that piece of paper. So now if we set that there and we arrange, send it to the back, make sure it's going to fit in there. Now I just noticed that this blue layer, we can click on it over here in the layers panel. It actually needs to go down a little bit further so that those hearts become blue. So we just pull that down a little bit. Then we'll go back to that name card over here. And we'll just move that up one. Move forward. There we go. So that's it. That's how I would go about making that using Cricut cartridges. If you hit your go, you'll see exactly what you're going to end up with. Okay, you see we have the blue layer. We have our white frame and our elephants. And actually, to save paper, you could move these inside the frame however you wanted. And even this piece. You see the text is attached to that piece. Let's move it like so. We have this white piece. It's going to cut out as one piece. That's your base, and that's it. You have two white ones and the blue one. And again, I would probably cut 2 or 3 of these and glue those together, this outside frame, just to add thickness. But that's it. I hope this helps. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.